bet he'll blame all the traffic. Tell her he got distracted. But I tell you right now, that gal's body was acting like she was missing something. Like he just isn't someone that learned from the last time. Maybe that's why.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another video. This video is about the Yamaha Enticer 250. Just to get into it, I did talk about this if you guys have followed the channel. I talked about it with my channel update for the winter. But I didn't really go into too much detail. I did kind of talk about what we are doing, but not too much about it. So it's been in the barn for about 15 years, hasn't ran at all since then, or probably longer, maybe 16, 17 years. So it's finally time to get it running. So anyways, just to break down the plans. So we started pulling things apart when we got it in here. Had to put the skis back on it because those skis on there are actually for this sled right here, and those skis are actually for that. But I had to switch them when I bought this sled because this sled runs and that one didn't. So what I did is I had to put the skis back on. That was a tough thing to do. For some reason the bolts weren't lining up. So anyways, we got it in the garage and everything, and then started pulling things apart. Pulled the gas tank off and the oil tank, which is over here. Yeah, that's under the hood. Started pulling some old oil and gas lines out, and kind of just putting those in the garage because they're good for nothing really. They're all crusty and everything. Other than that, we just kind of started pulling things off the motor, and the first day we didn't really get too much into it until we realized that the motor was completely clogged up with everything that mice and squirrels eat, and their poo, and wow, yeah, it was quite something. They basically were living in there. I'll pull up a couple of videos that you can see here. Other than that, we just started going to town with the engine, started blowing things out of the motor. As you can see, there's literally an acorn down here. Yeah, so I don't know if my light's gonna work. Doesn't look like it. No. Anyway, so it's kind of hard to see, but you can kind of see all the grain and stuff and the dark stuff. That's all what came out of the engine and what was underneath the engine. There was a lot of stuff in there. So the airbox was full of stuff, the muffler, the carburetor. They went underneath the piston, so they're in the crank case and everything. And yes, so they made it a mess. We took the recoil off, started pitter-pattering, took the top of the motor off. So we got this here. And it's not too bad, just needs a little bit of a cleanup. The gasket was here. I'm not quite sure where it ended up. The short block, I don't have it in the garage with me right now. But it wasn't too bad, but it's an old scourge, so we're going to have to do some work to that. What else is there? The recoil, we had to give that some oil because it was kind of jammed up. We thought the motor was seized, completely seized. But thank God it's not. So here's the engine right here. Same with this, we just started going to town with it. We weren't going to pull the motor out, and then we decided, okay, let's just pull the motor out, get that over with. So we pulled it right out. It's not too hard. Three bolts. Took the piston off. We found out the piston is actually cracked, because what had happened is the bolt going to the stator, we're thinking that the stator is not good because we're not getting spark. Could be the coil, but the coil doesn't look too much. It doesn't look like it's in bad shape, but the stator could be a problem too. So we just started pitter-pattering with getting to the stator and trying to figure out how to get there. And the piston was sort of on an angle like this against the steel here. And one of my buddies there, he just started torquing on it, torquing the nut off on the cover for the stator, and cracked the piston. We didn't realize it until the next day that we pulled the rest of the stuff off and started getting to the clutch and pulled the piston completely off, that the piston's actually cracked. So yeah, so we need a new piston. The fact that it did crack though kind of shows me that there was some metal fatiguing going on there before, so you know what, it's just good to just go ahead and replace it. Clutch, I haven't got a clue how a clutch works really. All I know is this comes in and out, or goes down actually. Yeah, so really I don't know how it works. We're just kind of learning as we go here and trying to do what we can. So yeah, in here there was a whole bunch of seeds and stuff underneath the piston and everything, and we soaked the motor with oil, completely just drenched it with 2-stroke oil and let it sit for a week like that. And now she's finally lubed up. So yeah, it's quite something. Quite a bit of work went into this. Quite a bit of brake cleaner, quite a bit of elbow grease, and quite a bit of brain power just to figure out how exactly it works. What else is there? Really, the plan with this now is to figure out what we need to do with the short block, get that bored out, get a new piston, and as that's on order and stuff like that, we also need a new carburetor, because the carburetor has the built-in fuel pump, and every year or so, or second year, you need to get a whole new carb kit because the fuel pump goes on these things. Very cheap carburetor, and they're not very good. So that's the deal with that. Here's the coil right here. Doesn't look too bad to me. I don't know, it still could be the coil. I'd like to know if it's the coil or not before we go ahead and rip the whole entire stator apart, but I'm not quite sure. Underneath here, doesn't look too bad. We might need a new shock or something, but we haven't really got to that yet. We're kind of just focusing on the front end. Everything else is good on the sled. Everything's here, so everything we need. So other than that, while the motor's out, we're going to completely drench this belly pan with as much as we can to get all this oil and gunk out, and yeah, I don't know, try to get it cleaned up, maybe do some painting, make it look a little bit different. And yeah, so as far as that goes, that's the Enticer build breakdown for you guys. Basically that's what's going on. I'd like to go into the chain case too and take a look at that. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. There was a lot of mice remnants from doing this, so I don't know, maybe there was a mouse in here at the time, but he got vacuumed up, I'll tell you that for a fact. So yeah, well, thanks for watching, guys. That's pretty much it I got for you today. Yeah, stay tuned for the more Enticer content as this build progresses. I'd like to hopefully get this running by the end of the season. So all right, stay tuned for next videos coming up. Be sure to subscribe and check out the content from last year, and there's going to be some more content coming up shortly for the snowmobile season this year.